welcome to another Think Tank. I am Olivier Lewis, and if you haven't met me, please connect with me on Instagram or Facebook if we're not connected there. Broker owner of the Cranford office. So I do these think tanks every Tuesday where we cover a specific topic. Typically, the agents are giving me feedback on what we should cover. So today we're going to talk about buyers ghosting agents. So if this has happened or happening to you, please type in a comment with any questions, feedback, etc. And for those here as we are live in Cranford, let me know whatever your feedback is, comments, concerns, etc. So this happens where buyers get ghosted. Anyone here get ghosted lately? Ghosted is when a buyer just disappears and doesn't respond, doesn't answer, doesn't return calls, emails, texts, kind of like a ghost. They just wander off.
I had one just recently that came, supposedly somebody recommended me about 10 years ago. I wasn't even a real estate agent then.
Wow.
And they gave me a name of the person from Honduras. I never worked with somebody from Honduras, and the same way she disappeared.
Wow. So did you connect with her? Did you speak to her?
I showed her houses and all that, and all of a sudden she disappeared. The same way she came, she left.
Same way she came, she left. How long did you follow up?
I followed about, let's see, about a month, no more than that, because
Okay.
she started not answering.
Yep.
And I was looking for properties and all that, thinking, and then she disappeared, and that's a waste of your paper and my time.
Not a waste. Here's what I say. Don't give up. Number one, do not give up. The buyers will resurface. The problem is we as agents want the sales lead or opportunity, and that's someone that is looking to buy today. Example, if someone crashes their car or the transmission or engine goes out in their car, they're going to a dealership looking to buy immediately, right? Same day, next day. But there's other people that say, hey, my dream car is this, or in a year or 6 months, I want to upgrade. So they're going to go to the dealership to look around. That doesn't mean they're not a buyer, right? That does not mean that they're not a buyer, but we want the person that has to buy today, and we don't want to work on the 6 months or a year. Who plans to be in the business in 6 months or a year from now? So who's going to have bills in 6 months to a year from now, right? So why not follow up? You don't give up. Whether they want to buy this weekend or a weekend in 2 years, I would still want that client. The problem is we don't have the patience sometimes to follow up. So one, do not give up. And that doesn't mean you have to call them every day or even once a week. Depending on the scenario and case by case, you need to figure out a good follow-up plan. But don't give up. That person that came to you, do not give up on them. Two, you have to understand the psychology of a buyer. I actually printed something out from Inman, because sometimes you guys need a different according to who, and I will pass this out and I can share it with the Facebook group, but it's the buyer's time frame. Guess what? Anyone want to guess from the time someone decides the thought of buying a home, just the mere thought of buying a home till close, how long it takes?
2 to 5 years. I saw that. 2 years. I got clients from the other office, and then they called me, and I actually sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years later.
5 years later. Well, not every buyer is 5 years, but the average is 2 years per Inman News. So that's one of our most reputable publications. So the time that the mere thought, I think I want to start the process of buying a house to close is 2 years, but we do not like waiting 2 years. So the buyer that is at the beginning phase, if we catch them at the beginning, typically a lot of agents just don't want to wait it out, or they don't think that the buyers are actually ever going to get to close, which is not true, because you don't know what phase that you got them in. If they're phase one and someone referred them, or phase one, they're just thinking about it and went online and put in a name and email, and then you call and they're like, whoa, we're not ready yet. But you don't know where they are in their home search. So it's on you to really be patient, empathize, try to understand, and wait it out. So there's the thought process, there's the research and planning, right? We need to save up. Let's really see what we can buy. Oh, wait, I can't get a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a 2-car garage and a finished basement for $300,000, but I see it online, right? Or I see it on, TV, right? HGTV. They're in some other state other than New Jersey, or maybe even South Jersey, Sicklerville, in those areas where you can still do in the 300s. Yeah, exactly. So don't blame the buyers when they're unrealistic. It's an education process that they need to come to the reality of our tri-state area market, right? But they're in the research and planning and sometimes denial. Wait a minute, I can't get all of this for 300 grand. That's over $250,000, and I still can't get what I want. You got a question?
Yes. How do you handle an elderly client? I have one that also was referred to me. He just sold the house, I don't know whom, but now because they have the money they need to invest, so they don't have to pay taxes.
Mhm.
And he's looking for a condominium. I found whatever he wanted to, but to me, he sounds confused because every time I call, he's like, "Who's this? And where are you from?"
Doris, we're actually live streaming this in our Facebook group to cover the topic of buyers disappearing. I'll talk to you after about this particular scenario because it's a little different topic. So figure out where the buyers are in their search. If they're in the thought process, if they're in the planning, life events get in the way. Anyone have a buyer that lost their job, changed jobs, got married, had kids in the middle? Well, that puts it on hold. That doesn't mean it's a bad buyer, they're not serious, but there are plenty of life events. Then they're ready to proceed, and then obviously they get to close. But you have to figure out where they are. And in the meantime, you follow up, and you follow up accordingly. Now, someone that just disappears, like you mentioned, the client that was referred to you before you were licensed, which means kudos to you. I've never heard that.
I never worked with.
Yeah. There's a couple little tricks that we use to try to get someone to respond if it's just happened. You take a buyer out Saturday and today is Tuesday and they're not responding if they told you to write an offer. One of the tools I use is texting them. Was it something I said? That seems to work a lot because it puts the burden on them to say, no, it's not you, it's me, I'm sorry. And it puts them in a phase where they apologize. So text, just plain and simple, was it something I said? That seems to work. Carl uses, OMG, I'm so sorry, have I become the annoying salesperson? No, you're not the annoying salesperson, it's me, I'm just busy, life's gotten in the way. So those are two of the tips that Carl and I use to try to get someone to engage or respond when they do disappear or ghost you. But then I always say, if they don't respond to anything like this one, it's been more than 30 days, I'm going to ask you guys, what do buyers care about? What's the number one thing buyers care about? What was that, Lionel? To see properties. So they care about homes. Would we all agree?
Yes.
This is the part you guys say yes?
Yes.
Great. So if buyers care about homes, what should we be doing for a buyer that ghosts us or disappears? What should we be doing?
Sending them homes.
Set them up for automatic listings. Has anyone ever set up buyers for auto email listings? And then 6 months later, you get a random text message or email, hey, I want to see this house. It just happened now. Bingo. They care about listings. Send them listings. You're not going to win them all back. But guess what's more likely to get them to respond and raise their hand? Listings. It's happened to all of us. It's happened to me. And I'm saying, who is this buyer? Then I just remembered, oh, I must have set them up on an auto email. 6 months later, they're coming back, right? So it costs you very little time to invest to sending them listings, but that's what buyers care about. Send them listings, set them up on a campaign, and people always ask, agents always ask me, well, what's too much follow-up? There is never too much follow-up. Your goal is to follow up until they either buy with you or tell you they don't need your services, right? That is your goal. So after a month, after 2 months, after 3 months, after 5 calls, after 12 calls, there's no amount. Just keep calling. Just be strategic. Put them in a campaign. Call them once a month if they've ghosted you. Send them things of value, but definitely send them listings. So it's natural, it will happen, guys, but it's how you handle it that matters. And I can tell you the difference is following up with all these people, you'll convert a certain percentage. And I don't want to throw out or make up numbers, but those conversions is where you make money. The buyers that are going to buy with you, they're going to buy with you right away, day one. But the money that you generate from the follow-up, that's really what you created on your own from following up. And that can be tens of thousands of dollars, if not $100,000, if you're consistently following up. We all get leads or opportunities from different websites, sign calls, etc., referrals. And the ones that don't respond right away, don't engage right away, we tend to let them go. But it's lost opportunities. And if you circle back a year or two later, there's a high percentage of them that will buy.
On the auto email,
Yep.
you can actually look and see if they opened it
Yep.
or they clicked the houses.
Yep.
So I usually reach out to the openers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The ones that open.
And great point on the auto emails. I believe set every buyer up on an auto email, and the ones that are opening it, you can usually tell which house is the one out of the three or one out of the two that is the better house. And then you could send them or text them direct, hey, there's a new listing at 123 Main Street. What do you think about going to see it this Saturday? Knowing that they looked at the email 4 times. So there's so much value when someone just disappears to just follow up with listings and continue on your process. So any other questions on following up when buyers just disappear on you? Nothing else. Let me see if there are any comments from our colleagues in the group. I do not see any other comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys next week on our Think Tank. Take care.